Thank you all for being here. The City of Inglewood is offering a $25,000 reward for information leading to the identification, arrest, and prosecution of the persons responsible for the murder of Gwendolyn Jefferson Taylor. In addition to the city's reward, there is an additional $10,000 that has been offered by an individual person who wishes to remain anonymous. So the total amount of monies that we have for the reward is $35,000. A brief synopsis on what occurred. On Saturday, December 11th, 2010, Miss Gwendolyn Jefferson Taylor attended a Christmas party at Rogers Park in the city of Inglewood. She was with her husband and her 3 grandchildren. As she exited the building at approximately 4:45 p.m., she was struck by gunfire. Paramedics transported Miss Taylor to a local hospital, where unfortunately she succumbed to her injuries. Prior to the shooting, as she was walking out of the building at Rogers Park, there was a verbal altercation between some folks in the park, and we're hoping that somebody might remember that loud verbal altercation or that argument in the park. We're hoping that if somebody remembers something, that might jog their memory to be able to give us a suspect description, because ultimately what that person did was involved in the argument, shot Ms. Taylor as well as another individual. The other individual that was shot has thankfully recovered from their injuries, although Mrs. Taylor did not. The gunman is described so far at this time. The gunman is described as a male black, 19 to 20 years of age, 5'7", 140 to 160 pounds. He has a dark complexion. He was wearing dark clothing. He fled westbound on Beach out of the area. He remains outstanding, and the motive for this is still undetermined. We are aware that there was a significant amount of people at the park, yet no one has come forward at this time to give us any information. When we did the press conference last time, we were hoping to get some leads. We don't have bad leads, we just don't have any leads, which is almost unbelievable to believe that somebody out there did not witness something or a piece of information that could prove valuable to solving this case. We're never going to be able to give this family closure, but we can certainly bring this person to justice. Anybody who has information is asked to call the Inglewood Police Department. We have an 888-412-7463 number, which is our hotline number. We also have our homicide unit, which they can be reached at 310-412-5246. Before I answer any questions, I'd like to have a couple of the family members come up and absolutely give their plea to the community as well. Who's going to come? Okay. We're going to have Veretta Woods to my right. She is Gwendolyn's sister. And we're going to have Trina Newman, who is also Gwen's sister.
Yes, I would just like to say, if anyone saw anything, heard anything, because I'm sure there were so many people in that park that day, someone saw something or heard something, we just have a plea that you will come up, come to the just call the Inglewood Police Department and let us know, let them know, because there is a reward out for that person. And like she said, there will never be closure, but we do need justice to be served. Because my sister was a loving, caring person. She looked forward to her retirement. She was just about to retire, and this was our first Christmas that we had without her, and we deeply, from the bottom of our heart, we miss her. Because she was number one person in our household. She was the one that we can come to whenever we had something. She would never be a person that took sides. She was the mediator for the family. So we really miss her. And if there's anyone that saw her or anything, that they will come forward. And even the person, you have a heart. You have a mother. You have a grandmother. Whatever, and you need to just come forth and turn yourself in, because if you don't do it on this side, you're going to do it on the other side. You might think nobody saw you, but God saw, and He knows. And we're not wishing anything bad on you. We just want you to come forth and do the right thing so that justice can be preserved, and that we will never have closure, but we want justice for our family. Christine?
Hi, I would like for someone to please come forward. I'm quite sure someone saw something, heard something. Her children is missing her. She's the backbone to the family. Do what God would have for you to do. not what we want you to do, but what's right in God's sight. Have a heart, you know. Like my sister said, that if you don't pay on this side, you have to pay on the other side. You have to answer to someone. We're praying that you do the right thing. Because I believe in my heart that God has spoken to me. It's going to be solved one way or another. God is going to bring it all to light. Thank you.
Okay, this is her son.
My name is Kunta, my youngest son. My mom was everything to us, and finding this guy, not going to bring her back, but like we say, we need some kind of justice and closure. My mom was there for all of us, and she always supported us, and through thick and thin. My son was everything to her. My son really do miss her, that's his grandmother. Not just a grandmother, a best friend. And she was the one that protected my son from the bullets. She hold him, she gave her life for my son. And if anyone out there that can, help us, some justice, please do. Contact the Inglewood Police Station, there will be wards. Really appreciate it. We help our family.
So as you can see, this family is in a lot of pain, and there are people out there who probably know something, have a piece of information that will certainly help us out. And again, our request is that that person come forward, and there is a $35,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of this person.
And the breakdown of the reward again was?
$25,000 has been set up by the City of Inglewood, that was approved by our City Council, and there is a $10,000 additional amount of money that's been put forth by a citizen who wishes to remain anonymous. So a total of $35,000. One of the questions that came up at the last press conference was in regard to the video. The video cameras at the park were inoperable at the time. They were not working. Therefore, we were unable to get any video from the park. However, there was a secondary video that was obtained from a local business, or a local building, I should say. And that video right now is currently being enhanced. The quality of it is being enhanced to see if we can identify someone in that video as well. Questions?
The young man that was wounded in the shooting, your first news conference, I was there, you didn't say too much about him. Do we know if he was the intended target?
Yes. There were two juveniles in the parking lot at the time that were the intended targets. One was a juvenile Hispanic male, one was a juvenile African American male. They were the intended targets. When the shooting occurred, prior to the shooting, there was a loud argument. When Miss Taylor was walking out of the building was when the shots were being fired. The one juvenile who was shot in the arm, and he recovered from his injuries.
Wondering what you might have got from him. You obviously questioned him. If anybody's going to know anything about this, likely it would be him. Absolutely.
We have statements from both juveniles that were the intended targets. And the information is, it's an unidentified male black, matching the description that I previously gave out to you a few minutes ago.
Do we know whether it was a gang?
Excuse me, sir. I'm sorry?
They weren't much help.
Well, they were a great help, but we still don't have this suspect identified.
So they didn't know who was coming after them? Okay.
That's correct. They did not know. Had they known, we would have taken this to a different level.
Do we know whether it was a gang, Bloods, or Crips?
We don't know if it's gang-related at this time. That the motive for this crime is undetermined at this time.
Did they have the argument with the alleged gunman?
That is the information that we have been given.
So they got a good look at him, obviously. They didn't know the alleged gunman.
They did not know.
They just...
From what they explained to us, they did not know the alleged gunman.
Were they able to give you a brief description of how the gunman looked?
Absolutely, and that is the information that we provided to the media and the public, and is also on our website as well as on the flyer.
In the aftermath of the incident, there were witnesses around. Were there was no information given at all by people who were attending that particular event?
The information that we have is extremely limited, and it seemed like, and understandably so, after the shooting occurred, or while the shooting is occurring, everybody's running for their lives. That's understandable, and that's why we did not get a lot of information at the time. We're hoping that some of those people that were there when this occurred can give us information after the fact now.
So you believe that the people who know the suspect are just not coming forward? I mean, they're shielding the person who did this.
Well, I don't know if necessarily people know who committed this by name necessarily. There might be some folks who know this person. Maybe he's spoken to some people, and yeah, we're certainly requesting of them to come forward. But what we're actually requesting are the people who were innocent attendees, park attendees, to come forward to maybe give us any information that could help us possibly identify the suspect. Not necessarily that they're trying to guard him or protect him, but anybody that has information. They may think that it's insignificant, but what we do need is anybody who's at that park to give us some information.
Do you know if there were any security staff people at the park or the council that particular day?
There were some city workers who were at the park. However, I believe they were inside of the building at the time, which is where they would normally be, and I don't believe we have any information from them.
Ma'am, I'm just beginning.